1. Let's talk about grants for a moment. There are two types of grants. The traditional grant, where the donor or grantor gives you the money up front, you spend the money, and then they expect you to report on it, which is what we're going to show in this video. The other type of grant that I will show you later is a reimbursable grant. In that scenario, the donor gives you the grant but does not give you the money until you've actually spent money. So it's reimbursement rather than being paid up front. The best example I have for that is a battered women's shelter in Cleveland, Ohio. Has a deal with the city of Cleveland to run a hotline, and at the end of every month they create an invoice, send it to the city of Cleveland, and the city of Cleveland reimburses them for payroll, utilities, and so forth. But the city doesn't give them any money up front. So let's take a look at a traditional grant and how to set it up. In QuickBooks, we use projects because it works remarkably well for grants. To create a new grant, we simply go here and say create a new project. This is probably going to look a little different than yours because I have QuickBooks Advanced and most nonprofits use QuickBooks Plus. Plus is a little simpler here, but the idea is the same. So here we type in the grant name and we find our donor. We can also add a donor here, of course. Turn this off. Go up to the top and I can add new at any time, or I can pick an existing grantor. In this case, I'm choosing the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. I've created a grant already for this, don't save, so it'll save time. You won't have to watch me fumble through my typing. So here's our traditional grant. And we'll go to edit. You can see that I called it the 2021 traditional grant, and Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation does in fact provide that grant. They are the donor or the grantor. I am at the dashboard. The dashboard says that I've put $20,000 worth of income to the grant. I have spent $10,000 in expenditures on the grant. I have $9,800 left to spend on the grant. That is how you read this. All I did to get here was go back here. Oops, shoot. Back to projects, sorry. Go to the traditional grant, and it drills down to here. I can go to project reports. Project profitability is the one that I want. I will view that report, and it gives me a breakdown of the grant. It's for all dates, which is what I want, because grants sometimes go multiple years. And of course I can break this up if I need to. However, what I'm saying here is that I had $20,000 in grant revenues, and here's how I spent the money. This is a very good report to generate and give to your grantor. Usually it satisfies their needs. Let's take a look at how we get this money into the system. I am drilling down to the original input document. I used a sales receipt. And here you can see I selected the grant, not just the grantor. The grant is associated with the grantor. So I picked the traditional grant, and you can just barely see that there's an indentation with these two. And you'll see up here a colon. That's how they separate. It'll list the name of the grantor and then the name of the grant. Down here, I simply had created a product or service called grant revenue. I put in $20,000. In this case, they had given me the money, so I simply deposited it to my Wells Fargo checking account. Save and close, and that recorded the funding of the grant. I now have recorded that I have $20,000 to spend on this grant. I go back to my project reports to take a look at the expenses or expenditures. We'll drill down here. Drill down here, and we're back to the input document. In this case, I simply used an expense document, could have been a check, or even recording a bill. I recorded the vendor, I paid it out of the Wells Fargo account. In this case, I actually paid it immediately. These were the 3 different areas where I spent the money, and here is where I assign the project, which of course is our grant. And you can see, if I drill down, once again, I selected the grant, and it shows here with the donor, followed by a colon, and then it has the grant name. That's the way QuickBooks displays these. In that way, we have recorded and back to the dashboard. But we have recorded the income, the costs, the profit, or the money remaining to be spent, and we can generate project reports to send to our grantor once a month or whatever is appropriate to them. Thank you.